The time has finally come. The day I've been dreading for so long. It's time to remove the twins on the 1J. Now, I love me a set of twins, but these specifically have got to go. I actually haven't done any research on how to remove these or what needs to be removed, so I'm just going to take off whatever I think I don't need, and I'm going to have two piles. A trash pile that I know for sure I won't need, like the intercooler piping, because all that's going to be remade, and a bunch of the stock ducting, I'm going to keep that in a separate box just in case I will need it. So this isn't going to be like a how-to, more like a follow along and watch me struggle. We actually have a couple of coolant lines here and back here, and this one I believe is for the heater hose, but I already have my drain pan on the bottom, so we're good to take them off. I wanted to take off as much as I could in one piece, but I think I'm just going to take off every single nut and bolt that is on here. That way I can just take it off in pieces. So even loosening all these up didn't do anything. So I'm going to take off every nut and bolt that is on the turbo, because it looks like a lot of this piping is mounted to the turbo directly. Okay, these two bolts loosened up this piece, so now we're getting somewhere. Oh, and yeah, I already loosened up this hose clamp back here, and now this piece seems to be coming off, but I don't want to scratch my cam cover, so I gotta be careful. Oh, there it is. All right, one down, many to go. And while we're here, let's take off these clamps, and let's see if we can get this rubber piece off. Yeah, no, that's on there. So now we're gonna work on removing this guy, and it's held on by two bolts, one here and one on the other side. You son of a bitch. Oh, there we go. Busted that nut. So I broke loose the bolt, but I can't undo it with the electric ratchet because it'll get stuck on this power steering solenoid thing. This thing's got to go, but I'm not taking it off right now. But the wiring harness is in the way, and I have, like, I kid you not, maybe like 3 inches of room, and I can't really get like a wrench on the top. At least it's broken. It's this guy right here where my finger's at. So close but so far. Got it. Next, to make things a little easier, I'm going to remove all the hard lines, starting off with this one and this one that goes to a rubber hose, and they're held on by 2 nuts, one right here and one on the bottom. So the exhaust manifold stud kind of gets in the way, so these hard lines are going to stay for now. But we are going to remove it from the bottom right here. I'm going to leave the coolant lines alone for now and go back to working on this piece. So what it looks like from up here, this piece is held on by this tube, so I got to move this out of the way, and there is a coupler on there, so I'm gonna take this off, and hopefully that is enough for this piece. Just this piece right here where the blow-off valve is housed is enough to take off. Okay, so I was wrong. This wasn't a coupler. It was a, well, yeah, it is a coupler, but it wasn't doing coupler things. It was covering up a hole that was here on On this piece, I don't know where or how that happened, but it was covering it up and doing a terrible job because this thing had a hole in it too. So it looks like I'm gonna have to take off the 2 bolts that go directly to the turbo. And this is one of them. Oh man, you can't even see it. This is one of them right here. And there's another one on the other side. Like, you can't even see it. You gotta like feel for it. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna take off the one on the inside. And it's the same deal from the ones on the front. It's just 2 super long 12mm bolts. So I'm actually gonna jump around and start taking off all these bolts and nuts from the turbo, because I did take off, or I did loosen up that bolt that holds that piece, but yeah, camera can't focus, but yeah, it's right there. But it hits the firewall, so I can't even pull it out. These exhaust nuts here, 1, 2, 3, and then there's another 3 over there. These are actually loosened up when I had this valve cover removed. I had access to get a wrench in here and loosen them up, so these are loose, but the bottom ones aren't. So I'm worried about that being kind of a pain in the butt. So I think I'm just gonna spray these in PB Blaster and maybe come back tomorrow when they're a little bit loose and I don't have my torch on me. I'll have to bring one from work. That way, if one of them is being a little bit stubborn, I have the torch on hand to loosen up a nut. All right, my dudes, I got a bit of a confession to make. The twins, they won this battle. And what I mean by that is, this is a collector that goes in between the 2 turbos, one here and then 1 turbo right here, and 2 nuts, one here and one up here. I wasn't able to get them off. They ended up stripping, and luckily they were up here, and I said, screw it, I'm just gonna cut. Luckily the gaskets, they were here, they left a big space, so I was able to get a grinder, a flat cutoff disc inside there, and I just cut off the studs. I cut off the studs off of this one and off of this one, and 3, 1, 2, and then 3 on the bottom. I had room here, but I haven't been able to get this one off just yet. So the plan of getting all this unbolted, or trying to unbolt it to get it off, to do it the correct way, that's gone out the window. I said screw it, and I started chopping up hard lines. The hard lines that go for the oil, no, I'm sorry, I think it's for the water and the wastegate rod. I cut off this one, and then I cut off the one for this turbo. But before I did that, I did cover up this oil drain because I don't want any shards or pieces of metal going in here and in this PVC valve. And reason why I say in the title, don't do this, don't do what I'm doing, is because I had a screwdriver in here to kind of separate some the 2 flanges, and as I was cutting it, it kind of fell inward like that, and it grabbed the cutoff disc, and it ended up like exploding. And luckily I always wear safety glasses when I'm cutting anything, so I had safety glasses and nothing got on me, thankfully. And then the thing that took the hit the worst was, yeah, my valve covers. Not a huge deal. I'd rather my valve covers get scratched and have to repaint these than it go on my face or on my body. But these twins are pain in the butt to take off. I knew that they were bad, like twins on a 1JZ non-Vvti and 2JZ Vvti. They are notorious for being really difficult to take off, and I finally see why. There's no space to work on. Like, if you have either one of these engines and you have it outside and like maybe on the floor, I would highly recommend just go single. You eventually will swap this out for a top mount setup. Like, spend the money, do a top mount setup, because you are going to hate yourself when you have to do this inside the car. This was already in the car, so it's not like I chose to do this. This is what the car came with. It's what it's had since it came out of the factory. So I didn't want to take it out because that's a lot of work. But this is creating more work, but it's still less work than pulling the engine out just to remove these. I'm losing daylight, so I'm gonna get back to work. I have 1 nut to take off, and then I should be able to take off that collector, and then I'll have access to the nuts on the manifold, and then also on the underside to take off the turbo, because it's like a 2-piece. You got the turbo, and then the turbo goes onto that mini manifold piece that bolts onto the side of the block, or I'm sorry, the head. I'll put everything together so I can show you guys how it's assembled and what I had I had trouble with everything. But what gave me the most trouble, some stuff is pretty accessible from the top, from the bottom, but some of them I don't know how some people do it. But let me get to this, and I'll probably do that within the next few days, but it'll still be in the same video. All right, so it's been a few days, but I finally got the second set of turbos off, and I also took off the studs because some of them came off with the nut when I was removing them. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy all new ones. But my dumbass, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted 6 at the top, completely forgetting I need to get the 6 for the bottom. So I needed to order 12, but I ordered 6 in total. So I ordered more from Drift Motion. But yeah, pretty much take off the stud, put on 2 nuts, tie them together, and then it should be able to loosen up and turn to the left. These are the 6 that I ordered from Drift Motion. They're a little bit longer than the stock ones, so I am gonna have to cut off the bottom ones. When I put on the new manifold, you guys should be able to see where it hits the manifold, but that's not a problem. Just, you know, I gotta mark them and cut them off. But I will use that Torx, or I forget what the name of that end is, to tighten them up. And luckily they already put red Loctite on there for you. That makes it a little bit easier. And then the nuts, just basic copper nuts. So this is the size difference between the new and the old stud. Depending on your manifold, you may or may not need to cut them. But getting back to the turbos, this is what it looks like. This collector piece that I said goes in between the turbos. Exhaust gases go from out here to here, and same thing for over here. And this is the flange for the exhaust and the O2 sensor. And these are the studs that I decided to cut off. It just made it a little bit easier. This one I was able to get off. Because I wasn't able to get my, I was trying to get it with a Sawzall blade, but it would not cut through. I wasted maybe like 2-3 blades, and that's all I got. So I gave up on that, and I ended up just cutting it right here down the middle. Same thing on this side, 1, 2, 3, this one. So the one back here, this one's really tricky. Where is it? Yeah, see, you can't even see it. So the way I got this one was I cut off these 3, and then I was able to move this piece kind of like this. It tilted it like this, and I was able to get leverage to take off the nut. And these are the mini manifolds that I was talking about, the ones that bolt to the head, and then the turbos bolt onto this piece. I don't know if it's a thing for people to take it off all in one piece, but it seems almost impossible. If people have done it before, you know, that's awesome. I couldn't do it. But the key is to just honestly just anything that has a bolt or a nut to it, just remove it. This has a V-band, or it had a V-band right here, and that kind of helped to separate this piece right here. And then this was still stuck on here because I wasn't able to get the nut on the bottom right here. But you need to remove all of this, like the turbo, to get to these bottom pieces on this one and down here. If in the car, is super hard to get, and luckily I just gave up. I was able to take these off. But like the title says, I don't recommend doing it this way. I only did it because I knew I was going to toss the turbos. They were going in the trash anyway, so I did not care if they were, you know, going to get messed up or cut. But I mean, I'm not your dad, so you can do whatever you want, but just be careful. Also, you never want to have your head exposed, so whether it be on the exhaust or the intake side, make sure you use like painter's tape to cover up the holes, something like this, to make sure that nothing gets in. And this oil drain, I have yet to take off, but I don't want to expose, I don't want any gunk going down in there into the oil pan, so this is covered up. Another thing on the list, I got to get rid of these hoses, these radiator hoses. Nothing is wrong with them, I just do not like them being purple, this one or the one up top. So if you're a fan of 1Js, then maybe consider following along, because there's a lot left to do with this car, and I have to hurry up because I am driving an event in NorCal in Thunder Hill in November, end of November, but I still need to make sure that everything's working good, and I got to do a test day at some point and make sure the engine's running right. I still haven't driven it with the new S13 suspension, so I really need a test day, but I can already count the bill. The bill is going to be super high because I still have so much left to do. I still haven't bought any of the fuel stuff, injectors, fuel pump, fuel filter. I am going to be going E85 on this thing. Jason convinced me. He's like, yeah, he has his way. Yeah, so he convinced me to go E85. I said, why not? And honestly, I do love E85. I love the smell of it. At first, I wanted it to just be straight 91, you know, street car. But I do like the power, or the difference in power that it makes. Like with my S13, I notice the difference like dramatically when I pump with 91 and the 85. And I'm like, you know, screw it, I'll just do it with this car too. The S14 though, that will be strictly 91. I swear. So thank you guys for following along up until now, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.